Hi, I'm Scott Swenson. We're at Lynn's Propane Trucks with another stock truck here for you today. It's a 2021 Peterbilt. It's got a 34.99 gallon tank, 325 horsepower, aluminum wheels, chrome bumper, chrome grille, chrome heated mirrors, stainless steel exterior sun visor. We've got the aluminum air horns with the snow shields on them. As you can see up in the front headlights here, we've got strobe lights. These work in conjunction with one on the rear head of the tank. For those roadside deliveries, doesn't matter what direction the traffic's coming at, they're going to be able to see you. Let's jump in the cab. We'll look at a few options in there. To the left of the steering column here, we have two factory rocker switches that control the work lights. Two are mounted on the upper rear corners of the cab and two are on the rear of the tank. We'll take a look at those in a few minutes. Moving to the right hand side of the steering column, we have an automatic fan switch here. So you can put it on manually, and then your cruise control. Over in the center of the dash here, we've got two 12-volt receptacles, plugging in your GPS, charging your phones, whatever it is your drivers carry with them that need to charge. Below that, we've got a concert class radio, AM, FM, weather band, USB, MP3, Bluetooth, whatever you need. Down below, we've got our rear differential lock, and then our regen switch. We've got an exhaust brake, and this is the rocker switch for our strobe lights, which we saw the ones in the front headlights, and then we've got one on the rear tank as well. Moving up here, we have a backup camera. So this is tied into the backup circuit. When you put it in reverse, the camera will come on. The actual camera itself is on the rear head of the tank, and it completely eliminates that blind spot directly behind the cab. It's a really, really nice safety feature. We mount it over here so that you can kind of get it in the same view as your mirrors over here, so you're really just going from two spots instead of three. If you mount it in the center of the dash, it makes it a little more convenient and a little easier to use. Moving down here, we've got our custom printer bracket. This is made custom to each individual chassis, so it is rock solid. It's not going to be shaking and rattling as you're driving down the road. Also on there, we have a ticket holder just to help keep your drivers organized. We see tickets all over the cab on some of these trucks that come in for service, so this just helps them stay nice and organized. The truck has tilt steering. We have also a 3-function remote, PTO, throttle, e-stop. All you need to have on these is the e-stop, and your driver needs to carry it with them at all times while they're making a delivery. The nice thing about this is it has a couple of buttons that they can use as well, so they will carry it. With the PTO and throttle, they haul the hose out, hook it up, turn the throttle on right from the customer's tank, turn the PTO on from the customer's tank, kick the throttle up. As the tank fills, kick the throttle down, shut the PTO off. This really does two things. One, your pump's running a lot less, and two, your drivers use it so they carry it. If the battery dies, they replace it because they use it on every delivery. A lot of times with a single function where it doesn't have the other buttons, they live on the dash, you get pulled over by DOT, they test it, it hasn't been used in 6 months, the battery's dead, and you get a nice hefty ticket. So these are really nice options for your drivers. Let's head to the side of the truck here, and we'll take a look at a few more options. Again, we've got the aluminum wheels, aluminum air tank, aluminum battery box cover and steps, the stainless heated mirrors. We've got the stainless grab handles. Up top, we've got the work lights that are controlled by the factory rocker right on the dash there. Really nice, illuminates the side of the truck. Those late night deliveries where it's icy, snowy out, you can see where you're walking. Over here we have a chalk block holder, spring loaded, so it's nice and easy to use. Easy to secure the load, just a flip of the wrist. It's got rubber in the front and the back, so they're not banging, rattling as you're driving down the road. Nice and simple. Stainless fenders, stainless fender brackets. We've got a stainless spacer here. We set the mud flat back a little bit so that you can't pin it between a snowbank and your tire and tear it off. Because of that, we put the spacer here to keep the road grime off the back deck. Let's move to the back deck and look at a few more things. Up top, right in the center, we've got our camera. We had that mounted right over on the passenger side near the spot mirror almost. So when you put it in reverse, the camera will come on, the monitor will display directly behind the truck. Like I said earlier, it's a really nice safety feature. Completely eliminates this blind spot directly behind the truck here. We've got the strobe light in the center. That's working in conjunction with the two in the front headlight enclosures. So on those roadside deliveries, doesn't matter what direction traffic's coming at, they're going to see you. To each side, we've got the work lights. Those also working in conjunction with the two on the cab in the upper rear corners. So they'll illuminate the workspace in the back. The ones on the upper corners of the cab illuminate the sides of the truck. So the whole workspace around the truck, you can see where you're walking, where you're working. It can be a really, really nice safety feature. We have an oversized stainless steel meter box. Any maintenance you need to do on the meter, you can do. Clean the strainer, whatever it is, without taking the meter box off. Because we have that extra room, we've got a nice little holder here. You can keep your gloves in there, any fittings you use throughout the day. A nice little way to keep organized. Over on the side here, we've got a holder for a spray bottle. We see it used a lot for bee spray too in the summer months, but it keeps it nice and handy for the drivers right here. This is an LC meter, LCR2 electronic register, 2-stage preset. That means you want to drop 185.6 gallons. It'll drop it right on the money every time to the 10th. We keep our hose end nozzle in the meter box. Keeps it clean and dry. It's easy in, easy out. A lot of times you'll see where they've got a fitting right on the deck. You get to your stop, you've got to unthread it. You get done, you've got to thread it back on. It's out in the open, you're driving through the snow and ice, it's getting caked with dirt, mud, snow. This, keeping it in the meter box, keeps it dry and clean for when you're ready to use it, but it's also very easy to get in and out. For a hose reel, we have the Henne hose reel with the Guide Master. This is polished aluminum. It's spec'd for 250 feet of 1-inch hose. Comes standard with 150 feet of 1-inch hose. We overspec the reel simply because you can fit a lot of extra hose in here. You see all the extra room you have. You're out doing 30, 40, 50 stops a night, a day into the late night. You're not reeling this up perfect. If this is only spec'd for 150 feet of 1-inch hose, you have to reel it perfectly to get it on. With this, you can just throw it on any which way. It's not going to rub on the deck and shorten the hose life. It's not going to lop over and get caught between the drum and the frame and nick your hose, so you have to replace it. It's got plenty of room to reel your hose up any way you like. The Guide Master, really great option for your driver. Normally you would just guide it in with your gloves on. You're going to get whatever you drag the hose through all over your gloves. This is better on the back, helps keep you a lot cleaner too. You can just guide it right onto the reel. It's a really nice option for your drivers. As you can see, we've got a lower deck here, stainless steel deck. So everything's within my center of gravity for working. Normally, when you get these trucks, you've got the chassis rails that come out from the back axle. They'll just take a prefab deck, throw it on top of the chassis rails and bolt it on. When you do that, everything's up higher. It's above your center of gravity. So with this, as you can see, we've got a lower deck, whether it's my reel loading or my meter, everything's within my center of gravity. With the loading pipes, we've got them lowered and at an angle. So it's nice and easy. A lot of these we see they're up high, even if they're at an angle, they're still tough to use, or they come straight out. All you do is you find yourself struggling. You've got that 2-inch hose that doesn't flex in the winter time. And you've got to get it up over your shoulder, line up the acmes. It's brutal. With this, it's nice and simple. Doesn't matter how tall you are, just bring that right under your shoulder, right under your arm here. It lines right up. It's at the perfect angle. The acmes will thread right on. It makes it nice and simple. One more thing on this load. We've got the disc on the load line. So this is tied into the transmission. Allison has a feature called range inhibit. So unless it senses that this disc is on, you can't put the truck into gear and drive away from the loading rack. So that forces you to unhook from the loading rack and put your cap on before you can leave to make your deliveries. Really nice safety feature. This is probably the most common accident that we see, so it's become more and more popular on trucks. Let's head to the side of the truck and take a look at a few more options. Again, we've got the lowered stainless steel deck, polished aluminum hose reel, stainless spacers, stainless fender brackets, aluminum fuel tank. Got the stainless cover on the exhaust stack, aluminum cover on the after treatment device. This truck is just gorgeous from front to back. We have a hole in the frame rail here. This is so that you can see the main valve. When the truck isn't pumping, typically the first thing the driver does is look to see if the main valve's opening. The last thing you want them doing is climbing under the truck with the PTO on. So with this, you can just peek right through here. You can see if the main valve actuator is actuating and open it up or not. So it's a nice, easy way to check and eliminate that as a problem without climbing under the truck. And your drivers don't want to be doing that anyway. They know it's dangerous. They don't want to climb under there in the ice and snow and wet and mud and dirt. So it makes things a little bit easier. In the frame rails, which you can't see, everything's color coded. We run our air lines, pneumatic lines, electric. We give diagrams for everything that we do. So in the diagrams, everything's color coded. If you look in the frame rail, you see a yellow airline. You can look on the pneumatics diagram. You know where that airline goes to the back, what part it goes to and part number, where it goes in the front of the truck, what part and part number. It's really nice to understand how your truck was built and troubleshoot it as well. The PTO shaft, we use an oversized PTO shaft, straight as an arrow. A lot of times we see them come in here, they're at a kinked angle, and those universal joints do not last long at all. Where it's straight and true, they last a lot longer and take a lot less maintenance. This truck's built, it's ready to deliver gas. If you have any questions, give us a call, 800-252-5467. We'll talk to you soon.